Just another little bit on using Lucid Press. So last lesson, I just kind of shown you a little bit on how to import your exported front cover from Pixlr and just drop it into Lucid Press. As I've said, Lucid Press, we're going to use this one because it's much better to use for layout. It gives you more opportunities and chances to demonstrate practical skills. So I'm just going to show you around it, okay? Now you'll notice on my tutorial from the last one, I already had a double page spread down here. So I'm just going to go back a little bit and sort of add that in there for you. So everything is normally default to A4. So what you need to do is you can either click on add a new page from the sort of center part here, or you can pop over to this sort of little blue box on the left hand side and it will drop a page in for you like so. As you'll see, standard automatic, it will give it as A4. So what we need to do is we need to change that to A3. And again, it will give you an A3 portrait. And then we need to whack it on its side and just make it more landscape, because that's how a magazine would look with your double page spread, as you will know. Okay, so that's us sort of setting up the page itself. And as you know, hopefully you've had a little look around and a play about with some of the features that are in here. But just over on the left hand side, we've got our text box, we've got some shapes. This is where we can upload and import our images and graphics, anything you've created ready to go into your magazine. Don't worry about that one, it's just a table. You don't need to worry about that or include that. And just something to think about as well as we move along. You can include buttons and stuff like that. You can put hyperlinks in. And very importantly, for something that we're going to use is a video, which I sort of explained in the lesson about including a video as part of the interactive part of the brief. So we'll come back to this maybe in another tutorial when we start to sort of get to the end of creating it. Alrighty, so straight away what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go straight to shapes, because this is going to be a transparent layer. There's going to be nothing in there whatsoever, and I actually want a colour as my background. So it's a very simple drag and drop to begin with. I'm just going to go to the top there and drag the corners out, so that basically my whole page is covered with what would be this white box. I'm not happy with that, so actually I'm going to go with a colour. And I'm going to go for this sort of navy royal blue that's just over here, maybe a little bit lighter. And just sort of choose that as my background colour. So you've got all your colours that work as standard in here, but if you click on the little colour wheel, you can get more variations and different sort of shades for your choice. Okay, better plug that back in. Okay. So this is us. This is us in terms of our base colour, and we're going to go from there. Down at the bottom, you can add different gradients in, so you can have a radial, so it kind of shows them the circle outwards and gives you different sort of feelings to things. You've also got your linear at the same time as well, so up at the top here, you can click on that and choose a certain colour, and it will do that gradient all the way through from whatever colour you go from that lighter one, all the way down to the darker one, as that preview sort of shows. Okay, you can have a play about with the positioning of that gradient. So as you can see, if I just sort of spin around, you'll see how that works. And actually, I'm going to leave it like that. So we're going to have it a little bit darker on one side and go into that sort of lighter side. I might mess about and change as we go along. We'll see what happens and what happens and where my fancy goes with it. So that's us. That's us to begin with our base colour. Now, one of the most important things that I want you to consider is the layout, the positioning, and the size of your document. So with that one in mind, if you click on View, it might not automatically be selected. And it's this one down the second to bottom here, the Show Rulers. Okay, it might look like that, so you won't have any ruler along the top or the bottom. So if you click onto View and then pop down to Show Rulers, it will put this little border around the edge. And as you'll see, it goes from 0 there to just after 16, which is the edge of your document. Again, 0 to about 10 or so just down here. And that is us kind of putting our rulers on. So what you can do is, if you click in this darker grey part here, and dictionary, and if you drag that into the centre, around about 8, just after 8 or so, it will put that lighter blue line It's imaginary. It won't be there when you print things off, but it will give you some guidance to work upon to help you moving along. But that is effectively our sort of centre point of our double page spread, and it might just help as you sort of come to lay out and look at things like that. Okay, now one thing that you'll find straight away is if you go, I want to move that, and you've already dropped it, look, it's moving my background image, and obviously we don't want that. We want the line to move to be able to work around with the positioning of things. So, again, massively important, down at the bottom here, you'll have your layers palette. I don't know why they don't have it up here, but the joys of online software and all that. But down at the bottom, you've got your layers. So please, if you click on that, you'll be able to whack it on and you'll be able to see and work around things. So you will see straight away that page 1 is my front cover up here, and page 2 is the working on my double page spread here. What I would say is lock that layer in like so. So it puts that little red box around the edge, and that will mean then that you can't move that background. So that's just me clicking and moving. As you can see, I can't move that. That's locked in place. Just quickly unlock it and show you the eye tool. It will show on and off and before and after and how it all goes. So as that base layer, I know that's my colour that I want, and I'm just going to lock that, and I'm just going to stick with it as well for now and see which way we go. And fingers crossed from there, I will be able to hover over and I'll be able to move my centre point into accordance however I want. So it's massively, massively important that you use that layer and also the lock to move and leave things in place. All right. From there, what we're going to have a little go of next, I think, is just dropping an image in that's going to work for my article. Now, I've decided that I'm going to use an image that's actually going to cover this whole part of the left-hand side of the page. That's just my personal sort of choice for it. And if you can remember from when we imported the front cover page, all I want to do from there is if you click on Manage, so if you click on Images, then click on Manage, and if you go over to Upload, it will hopefully give you where your folder of images will be. So that's me in my lessons and everything that I've done. So I'm just going to pop onto my originals, ones that I've taken myself, and also my sourced images. So what I'm going to use for this one is I'm actually going to use that image that's there. Okay. So once you've selected it, if you click on Open, I'm going to cancel it because I've already done it anyway. You will see that it drops into your sort of gallery of images. If you click on Insert, like so, you will find your image. Oh my God, this dictionary, go away. You will find from there that you will be able to move this around and it will work however you like. So if I move it up to the corner, and as I said, I'm going to whack it just to half of my page and leave it like so. That's how it would look on screen. Again, you can lock your layer so it's in place and you can't do anything with it. But actually, I'm not happy with that, so I'm going to do a bit of editing. I don't want this big meathead here in the background, so I want to crop him out. So the best way to do that is make sure that your layer is selected. You can hide your layers or drag it down like so, just by clicking on the grey part. And if you go across here to your crop, you'll be able to work around and sort of choose what you want for that. So click on your image, and if you click on crop, it will give you the chance and opportunity to just trim that in a little bit. As I said, I want to get rid of that. Sorry, my mistake. I want to get rid of that big meathead out of my picture, and I just want Gallagher in there. It says straight away on how you then confirm your choices. So if you press Escape, it will get rid of the crop that you put on there. If you press Enter on your keyboard, like so, it will give the image however you want. So from there, you can obviously make things a little bit bigger and sort of work in and around how you want things. You want it nice and decent quality for how the position of everything will work. So again, just moving and adjusting to something that's going to work for you a little bit more. I'm not happy with that. That's all over the place. So we'll get something along them kind of lines from there. And I'm a bit happier with that. That'll do quite nicely for my editing. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of where we are with your sort of placing of images. You've got other things as well, so you can kind of do things automatically by choosing some of those options. But if you just do a custom mask, you'll be able to drag your edges and make it in a bit more accordance to how you want it as well. So it's just about playing about with your desired sort of effects. Now from there, I'm going to start to put in my headline. So with that one in mind, I'm going to go with headline from here, and you'll see that it just drops it up at the top there. Okay, straight away, what we can start to do a little bit more is move that to wherever we want. Now, obviously, because I've got my darker background colour, I'm just going to have a mess about and change around with those. So I've moved my box. I've got my text over on the right-hand side here. If you click on that one, it will open up everything for you to do your editing. So I'm actually going to start with a quote as my headline. And I'm just going to say, oh, sorry, I should maybe make that box a bit bigger so we can see what's going on. Something like LG would probably say, something like that. Okay, yeah, that is right. I haven't gone for the G because those Mancs don't pronounce RGs. All right, so I'm then going to choose a font that's a little bit more preference in terms of what I want. You know what? I'm going to go with that one there. I'm happy with that. I'm going to change the colour, and I'm going to go with a bit of green. Am I going to centre it? Yeah, why not? Let's centre it. It's too small though. Let's make it a bit bigger so you can work around your size of your font like so. You know, you can just click up and down and up and down. You can type the number in if you want. You might have a little bit of a workaround with something called the kerning. And the kerning will sort of give you the chance and opportunity to make things a little bit wider, a little bit more closer together. It sort of depends on which way you're going about things. But you know what? I'm relatively happy with the way that that's looking. No, I'm happy with that. I'm not going to bother with any sort of the horizontal stuff that's in there. We might have a little look at some of the warping. Who knows? You know, you might stick something on that looks a little bit more balanced with a little bit of an arch, or maybe a ribbon that's in there. Who knows? You know, obviously you can play about with these things and see which one you feel fits a little bit more to yours. I don't want anything. I'm just going simple, standard and straightforward enough. So there we go. That's my main headline for my article. I'm not happy with that. I want it much bigger. So with that one in mind, we'll click off and we'll drag our corners out. Okay. I'm then going to move that over here a little bit, like so. And is it going to stick a border on? Let's have a look. It might stick it on the box, so I've got to be careful with this side. Nah, that'll do. You can see how it'll work anyway. We haven't got the man in, so there we go. Let's change that a bit more. It's probably too big. Let's go for 100. So there we go. There's my headline. I'm happy enough with that. And we've just got to start now thinking about how we're going to place other aspects and other areas and other components of our article together. Because I'm pretty happy with what I've done there, I'm just going to lock each of my things in place. Okay, so as I said before, if you click on the lock, it will put everything in there, it will flatten everything for you, and you won't be able to move things around. So it just makes it 10 times easier to stop things happening and move things moving all over the place. So always remember to go back to your lock should you want to. Yeah, happy days. That's kind of where we're going to go with things to sort of begin with. What am I going to go with? I'm going to go with 2 or 3. We'll have a look in a second. We'll see what sort of columns I'm going to go with. But you know what? To be honest, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back and add a couple more images in because I want to start building that side up a little bit more. And I'm going to start to now include some of my sourced images, and I'm also going to include one of my own as well. So I took a picture of a nice floral flowery shirt that I've got in here, and when that's had a little think and it's uploaded, I'm just going to insert both of these images into my page. So that's just going to go down there just for now. And I'm also going to add my shirt to the page as well, like so. And remember, the whole idea of this was to look at the music that makes us and looking at influence and stuff like that. So here's a little bit of my own original imagery. So I'm going to drop that down there. I'm going to make it side by side. And trust me, I am fully aware that this looks absolutely garbage. All right, you've probably got more creativity than what I have. Okay, there we go. That's kind of how we all want it to work and how it will all position and place and everything like that. There's a lot of things that you can mess about with in this software, you know, how you sort of want things to go and how you want it to be for yourself as well. So we just got to look at those sort of side of things, thinking a little bit more about, you know, your positioning and layout and things like that. Okay, that'll do for now. I think there's enough for us to be going off in terms of laying and placing things. So we'll call that a sort of tutorial just there. Cheers for sticking with us, guys. Standard as always. Good stuff. Nice one.